Hello, I'm Jeff Cook, and I welcome you to another moment and segment which pertains to God and country. I would like to continue on the focus which pertains to our history and our heritage as a nation and as a people. Actually understanding who we are as Americans and not being ashamed of that fact. Being informed and acquainted with our past and allowing ourselves to be apprised of and perceptive concerning our founding fathers, who they were, and also appreciating the fact that we still live in liberty in the greatest nation on earth. The last time I spoke with you, I told you concerning our history and our lessons that I would be using the Bible and the very words of our founders in order to disclose and unveil the truth concerning our ancestry, our birthright, and our inheritance. So therefore, that will be our foundation concerning our history and the liberty in which we so enjoy, and the liberty, in fact, that they fought and died for. And they most graciously handed down to us, the future generations. Now, the question remains is this: why is it so important for us to know our history? Why is it so pertinent to understand the desires and the original intent of our founding fathers? And why is it so significant to apprehend and grasp the importance of our Christian foundation? Why is it so important? Well, the reason is this, and I say this with all sincerity and I say it with all earnestness. The dilemma and the difficulty that we are in today is because we, as a people, are a people filled with lack of knowledge. The plight and the perplexity that we now face as a nation is because we are actually destitute of purpose. And the conflict and the civil unrest that we are now engaged in is because we have forsaken and we have forgotten what has made us a free people. And I say this reluctantly because I know that many will disagree with me at this point in time, but also the derangement, the disorder, and the depravity that now engulfs us as a nation is because we have abandoned that which has made us the most prosperous and powerful nation on earth. Now let me explain myself concerning my last remarks, concerning our dilemma that we are in, and our plight and our perplexity that we now face, and the many which are in our nation which are deranged and depraved in their heart, in their minds. You see, I feel like the old song which was titled, "The World Turned Upside Down." Now this song was played in 1781 when General Cornwallis surrendered at Yorktown to General George Washington. As the British and Hessians marched in their long lines surrendering their arms, the Germans grounded their arms neatly. But the British, many of whom were weeping, they smashed their muskets down like children just walking off pouting, marching off very sullenly. But through it all, the British fife and drum corps played a doleful tune called "The World Turned Upside Down." You see, to the British and to General Cornwallis, everything that they were acquainted with, everything they thought they knew was right, was turned upside down. The most powerful nation in arms and the Navy had been defeated by the Americans. In their eyes, nothing more than a bunch of farmers and pitchforks. Now everything was going to change. So therefore they played this tune, they played this song, "The World Turned Upside Down." Well, this is the way I feel today. I live today in a world I believe is turned upside down. Our fathers and our grandfathers would not even recognize the world that we live in today. And herein is why I say this. We have millennials today in which they don't even know what gender they are. They don't even know what restroom to use. I guess it depends upon the day, the moment, and the hour, or how they feel at that time of what gender they're going to be. We have men dressing up as drag queens. We have men with men, women with women, working that which is unseemly, according to the Apostle Paul in Romans chapter 1. We have those crying out for socialism, willing to trade in their liberty for bondage. We have those who caress and coddle the Muslim religion, but yet they are willing to imprison a Christian for their belief and for their convictions. And we have politicians who have yielded unto political correctness. And we have politicians that are so willing to put American citizens under house arrest in order that they may save lives. But yet, they disregard the life of the unborn within the mother's womb. They are willing to sacrifice those children who are created in the very image of God in His very likeness upon the altar of choice. Now trust me on this. We live in a world turned upside down. And may I say once again concerning the abortion itself, you may not hear their cries in the mother's womb, but there is one who sits in the heavens, and He hears their cries, and their blood shall be avenged for. We live in a world turned upside down. It just does not compute. And that is the reason why it's so important for us to know our history and to know who we are as a people, to know what God demands and what God expects, and to know the desires and the original intent of our founding fathers, that we may live in order and peace. Let me give you a warning today, if I may. General and President George Washington once said, "The propitious smiles of heaven can never be expected upon a nation which disregards the eternal rules of order and right." The smiles of heaven cannot be expected upon us as a people if we disregard Him, His rules of order, and that which is right. He warned us of that. Solomon, the wise man in Proverbs, says, "Righteousness exalts a nation, but sin is a reproach to any people." The psalmist tells us that all nations that forget God shall be turned into hell. I close with this story with you on why it's so important to know our history and who we are as a people, and to get really to rectify our beliefs and rectify our mindsets, if you will, and to get back on the right path. But during the Constitutional Convention of 1787, they were trying to bring unity to the floor. But yet they got on a subject and the sin of the day, which was slavery. And many of the southern states wanted to keep slavery as law. And there were those of the northern states which did not want it and were fighting against it. But George Mason, who has been considered the father of the Bill of Rights, stood up on the floor and said something like this pertaining to the sin of the day. He says, "National sins requires and demands national calamities." And I want you to catch that. National sins demands and requires national calamities. So this is the reason why I'm bringing to you these segments which pertain to God and country, that we may rediscover who we are as a people and what we are about, because we are in a war and we are in a battle, and we need those who will cry out and stand up for truth in this day. I thank you for joining me. Join me next time as we discover the truth of our American history, which pertain to God and country, our birthright, and our ancestry. You have a good day. Thanks so much.